This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, so you can see that here we have several things whenever we are booting into the system. One is CentOS with the Zen hypervisor, advanced options with CentOS Linux with Zen hypervisor, then CentOS Linux 4.9.241-37, and then CentOS Linux 3.10. Again, the same thing with different image. And the last one is rescue mode. So it's all what we are able to see here is like the kernel with different versions. So whenever I'm going to boot from this first one, it will boot CentOS with Zen hypervisor, Zen hypervisor along with that. Whenever I'm going to boot the third one, it's going to boot with 4.9 kernel version, the CentOS 7 operating system. And the fourth one will come up with 3.10 kernel version with the with the CentOS 7. So suppose why we need several kernel versions. The reason for that is, suppose if I wanted to customize something, or then I have customized in the kernel, removed several modules, added several modules, and then compiled the kernel and made it available after installation. That can be one reason. Another reason can be if you have upgraded your system. So your Ubuntu or your CentOS repository have the latest updates for the kernel. It will download and it will install it, and as soon as it runs a grub update, it fetches all the kernel existing in your system and it will update it here. So that's another scenario. Or maybe in third case, suppose if you are installing any package which requires to modify your kernel, or which requires to add something in the top of your kernel, that application also can do something here in grub update. So suppose I am booting here. I'm booting with the first. I'm showing you this is just a debugging purpose. What to do, what not to do. I booted from the first, and I suspect that there is some issue with that because installation did not happen successfully, and I have rebooted the system. So sometimes what happens is like it used to be get stuck. So what I have done for that is I will go simply reboot from the reset the machine from VirtualBox, and then whenever it comes up, I will select the third option. I can select either third or fourth, anything is fine for me. The reason for that is both are the kernel which has been installed by the CentOS itself. Like this is the updated kernel 4.9, and this is the old kernel which has the old stock kernel which just came with the ISO. So I can go with this 4.9. Let's say it's booting or not. Yeah, it's booting. Failed to start or load kernel modules. Systemd hyphen modules not load services. Okay, systemd hyphen module hyphen load services. We'll see. Fails to start crash recovery kernel. Okay, no problem. So it was throwing some error. So let me see. Now I believe everybody knows that what I'm trying to do here. Demessage and then pipe and then grep. What the grep does, what hyphen I does, what I'm trying to what what I'm trying to do with the error here. I don't see that log here. So let me check in messages. Okay, let me log in through putty first. Putty will have a better. What is the IP? Mm, 56.101. Global dynamic 56.101. So what was the command I was running? Hmm. Fail to send log. It's just sending the log error message. Let me see if I'm able to see boot logs. Boot log is here. It doesn't have anything like error. Fail to start load kernel module. System serial status. This is the thing which what I wanted to see. Hmm. Oh, okay. So after, I mean, the system is so intelligent that system itself will tell me what to do further. But you need to read, you need to interpret further. So this is what it has given to me, and I have checked the status, and it gave me fail to load, fail to find module net bk, block bk, zen scsi bk, usb bk, pci back. All these things it is not able to find out. Okay, no problem. For me, I can understand that it's all related to zen hypervisor. So whenever I will load to another kernel, the same file is going to be get uh, executed, and it will not throw any error. So for now it's all okay. It's all okay means like there is something which it's trying to load, but I don't have. Why I don't have? Because I have loaded to the a bit older kernel. So I'm okay with this error. I don't have anything to do with this. So I'll proceed further. What I was saying is to go with the DHCP server. Okay. I hope it's visible to everyone, whatever is getting displayed. So in some class back, I might have told that what is the use of DHCP server. DHCP is one second. So DHCP, it's actually dynamic host control protocol, which sets the host or which gives the host as an IP on a dynamic or dynamic basis, and it can have several configuration like how you wanted to give, how you wanted to offer, and that's the work of your DNS server IP actually. I mean, sorry, that's work of your DNS server. So how it happens is client on the receiver side that offers sends a DHCP request to the DHCP server, acknowledging that it has accepted the information given by the server. So what will happen? First of all, whenever any DHCP server is coming up, internally it requests to the server in the network that, hey, is there any DHCP server exist or not? And if yes, it sends the packet, and in the response of that package, server also sends that DHCP acknowledgement and accepting that packet, whatever the client has sent, saying that, hey, I accept your information, and this is the information. And in that, this is the information means like this is the IP range which I have available, and I'm offering you this IP. That's what the DHCP server will respond in the reply or in the acknowledge of the client. That is what happens when we do DH client hyphen v hyphen space our LAN or our Ethernet. This is what happens. So there can be two methods: manual allocation of the IP and automatic allocation of the IP. In manual method, the IP is given on the host of the MAC address. So it means like we read the we read the request package from the client, and we read the MAC address of that. And after reading the MAC address, we give a fixed IP to that particular MAC address. And in automatic, we have two type itself: fixed lease time, infinite lease time. It means that automatic means whenever any request comes from the client to the server for offering an IP, we give we give an IP to that particular client. And there are two conditions. I want to give that particular IP for infinite time, or I want it to renew in a frequent time. The meaning of this is you may not by renewing all the time or any frequent time the IP. The meaning of this is you will not have IP conflict if you are going to renew that IP for each and every client in a set of particular frequency. So that's called the lease time actually. The time for which an IP address is assigned to a client. That's called lease time. And after that, it has to be get renewed. Suppose your server DHCP server has given you an IP to you maybe for 2 days, and after that, if you are going to connect, it will give you another IP. So for 2 days, 2 days is a lease time for you. So there can be two type: fixed lease time. It means like you are going to renew the IP addresses after every 2 days, or infinite lease time. It means like you are going to give the permanent designation of the IPs to those clients. So how we are going to achieve this? By installing a package. Let me check what is the package name actually. Here it comes yum install DHCP. And it will have a file called dhcpd configuration file. So DHCP package has got installed. Here I will need to update the Ethernet name. Here what it's saying is you need to clearly read this. Okay, go ahead, read. I'll be back in a minute. Sorry about that. Actually, I've changed the place I mentioned previously. And because of that, I have got some cough and cold, it seems. So please bear with my voice. So anybody can say, anybody can explain what it says. I'm asking anybody who understand it can explain it, what it says. Okay, so it's saying that if you are here to restrict what interface should DHCP listen on. So it's like DHCP server is is running, and on which port, or sorry, on not in which port, on which interface like in our in our system, in our virtual machine, we have two interface, ENSP03 or ENP0S3 and 0S8. So here it's asking like on which interface, or in normal normal server, I can say that a server can have 3 or 4 or 5 Ethernet port as well. So if I'm running a DHCP server, it should listen the request on which port. That I'm going to mention here. That's what it's asking like. Be aware that DHCP listens only on interface for which for which it finds a subnet declaration in DHCP.conf. So in dhcp.conf, we are required to declare the subnet also for that particular interface on which we are asking to listen, or on which we are asking to accept the DHCP packets, whichever coming from the client. So I forgot the Ethernet name. So this is our Ethernet name. I will add that line in the last. Now we need to configure the DHCP server, whatever it was saying to configure in dhcpd.conf. So let's see what the file is having, the actual DHCP server configuration file. Here is the DHCP file, but it's empty. Okay, so here this is the help file, I think, example file. We can go and check, or if any help we wanted to get, we can get from here as well. Today nobody asked me to increase the font size. So it seems like nobody needed it. Okay, great. So by going to these two files, we can get to know, or we can get some help about the setting up the DHCP. So I'll not go there. Let me just copy this, copy that backup file, copy that file to here. I mean to this dhcp.conf file, and then we'll modify that. We'll modify that conf file itself. Share doc dhcp hyphen 4.2.5, then dhcp.conf dot example. We'll copy that. I want to overwrite. Why I want to overwrite? Because the old file doesn't have anything. I mean, it was simply empty. So I will overwrite that file here. Yes, I have overwritten that file. Now I will open that file. Let's see what it's showing here. So domain name, I can give something which I might need to give as a host name also. Let's say testing.com. Okay, here I'm giving. And domain name server, I don't have any DNS right now, so I will simply leave it just like that. Parallel to this, I might be running the DNS server as well. That's what it's asking for. So if I will have DNS server, I'll come back and I will edit this later. So we'll come back to lease time. It says 600 and 7200. So we are going to leave that on the default. So 600, and that's the time actually. 600 and 7200, and it's in the seconds. So it means like 600 seconds means like for 10 minutes. So maximum 10 minutes, that will be uh, lease time for a client, and the maximum lease time will be 2 hours. That's what it says. And after that,
Yes, sir, one more thing, sir.
tell me.
Where we have to enter the subnet mask and net mask, sir?
Here it's asking for domain name and domain name server. That net mask, I'll come. Wait, I'll come there. I haven't reached there first. Let me complete this, then we'll go there. So now this section, if this DHCP server is official DHCP server for the local network, the authoritative directories should be uncommented. So yes, I want this to be a local DHCP server, and that's the reason I need to uncomment this. Here it comes, subnet. What is the subnet I wanted to give here? That's what it's asking for. So let's see, I wanted to give the subnet in 192.168 series 1.0. So my network starts from in 0 subnet. I mean, sorry, 192.168 1.0 subnet, and it goes till netmask is there. This one. It means like it will assign all the IPs changing from 0 till this 255. It will not change this one. So whatever IP anybody is going to get in this server is 192.168.1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, something like that. Because netmask I have given 255, 255, 255.0. And let's see if you are able to get more things. Let me see what are all there. Okay. Here we can see the settings like in shared network. It's saying that I'm in the same network. In the same network, suppose from 10 to 2:30, you are asked to assign IP from this DHCP server, and another DHCP server is owning the IP from 2:30 to something else. So in that, uh, here what it says is like denying the members from 10 to 2:30. Don't assign the IP and allow the member only from this subnet range. So it's like In a shared network, you can assign the IP or you can deny the IP as well. Hey, please don't give this set of IPs to somebody. So I think I will need to delete several things which is not needed, and we'll stick with this subnet and we'll modify some more things in that. Option routers will tell what it will tell. Yeah, if we don't get the IP, where to look for again.
It is a
But
gateway
before
address.
that, yeah, gateway is the only one who need to provide if
It's
I
an
am not able to
optional
provide. I mean,
route
if
access.
this, yeah, let me come back there. If I'm not able to assign address, where to look for? Probably look for the routers wherever I have routing you. But before that, I need to give the range as well, that from where to where I wanted to assign the IPs. So for the range, let's say I wanted to give IP from 100 to 201, and option routers is 192.168.1. My router IP, let's say anything is there, 254. I need to check what is the router IP. That only I need to give. And the domain name server, since I don't have, I need to assign the domain name to the what to say, the default gateway itself, and gateway will be 1.1. And if we have set it up any domain name server here, that also we can give actually in this domain name server. Actually, that's main purpose of that. I have
Sir,
written all the things to the configuration file. Yes.
sir, how you are assigning those ranges for IP ranges?
I'm just simply taking an example that suppose my network says that I need to assign this IP, I mean, from 100 to 201.
Okay,
I mean, it depends on your organization that what is the IP address he wanted to assign. Okay, I have taken the example
okay,
that I'm asked to assign IP address only from 100 to 201. So I can serve only maybe 100 or 101 people. That's it, not more than that. You can change according to your need, okay, and according to your requirement.
okay.
But you should aware of what you are changing and why you are changing. What is the requirement for that? And remaining, let me comment. Mm, Hash is commenting. I hope everybody knows that. The meaning of hash in any configuration file, it's like I'm commenting that line. Commenting that line will not, if line exists also, that doesn't have any effect. Okay, I've commented if it seems everything. So let's start the DHCP.
Sir, make it an a permanent, sir. Systemctl enable DHCPD.
Wait, let me see whether that is required or not. Okay, we don't have anything with that. So let's give a try. Enabling or disabling, sorry, enabling it, that service, because we have installed and that service itself is not enabled. That file itself is not present. Is it so?
DHCPD, sir.
Yeah,
DHCPD.
it's got, yeah. It's got enabled. In some system, it seems to be DHCP. Some system, it seems to be DHCP.service. Here it's DHCPD. Okay, no problem. Sometimes it's used to be a bit tricky. Okay, so it's got enabled. Let me start. In start also, I'm not sure if it's asked for DHCP or DHCPD. DHCPD actually I'm supposed to give. Now it says that it exit with the error. We'll check.
Hello, sir. One doubt, sir.
Yes.
Sir, start and enable, we can enter and only one command, or we have to enter the both of the command?
And no, both of the command you need to enter. Enable means like you are enabling that services, and after starting means you are starting that service or you are stopping that service. Enable, it never means that your service has started. Disable, it
Sir,
doesn't mean
one.
that your service has stopped.
Sir, one more thing, sir. Yesterday I'm seeing a video about the DHCP only, sir. They enter the command systemctl --- now enable DHCPD - permanent, sir.
They have
It
given
will
the
be
arguments
active.
also. They have given the arguments also -- now, which may have some extra effects. But if you
Okay, sir.
simply do enable, it will enable, but it does not mean that it has started. Okay, so to be more clear, just enable first and then start first. Okay, what error it shows? Not this one, this one. Let's see. It's showing something or not. It shows so many things. Oh, unexpected end of line. Semicolon expected option at 29 and 31 is unexpected end of line. Let me see what I've given on 31. Mhm. That's okay. I think I should give a tab. And after that, tab or maybe 4 spaces. Sometimes what happens is like they're very much, they should be very much indented. Okay, let's see if it works this time. Same thing. Now you can see that error is different. That semicolon error has gone, whatever we have seen previously. Here we have been seeing the error. Yeah, something else. dhcpd.conf line 29 semicolon is expected, and etc dhcp.conf line 31 expected end of file. So these errors are not coming right now. So it means like we don't have any syntactical error. Error has been corrected. No subnet declaration for vir 0. Okay, I don't need this. No subnet declaration for enp0s8. Okay, no problem. I don't need that. No subnet declaration for this. This is not accepted. enp0s3. I think I need to give this.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Just we can remove the comments. What we know, the output can be no, sir.
Wait, let me explain. Here it is saying the error that we don't have enp0s3 declared anywhere. Like whenever we start the DHCP server, where to listen for. So we don't have any subnet for that. So we don't have subnet for all of it, it shows. So this is expected. We don't want to listen here. This is also expected. enp0s8. I don't want that also to be get declared, but I don't want this is not expected. Here is an error. So we need to debug that error. First of all, this is, I mean, the trivial thing, like you need to understand what the error says and then accordingly act. Just one second. Yes, you were saying something. Somebody was saying something. Yeah, tell me. You wanted to say something? Somebody? Okay, here E is extra. Let's see. That might cause the problem. Mhm. Is it saying the same thing? Oh, okay. So it's asking me to write down the subnet declaration in your dhcp.conf file for the network segment. So for my network segment, I need to write the dhcp.conf file. So it's asking me to write down this one, subnet for this. So how I can remove that? 190 to 160.56.101 it has taken. So let me give that also in the same range so that it doesn't throw that error. Or another thing I can check is I can check the Ethernet itself. Mm, there used to be a file for Ethernet for that particular Ethernet. I'm just checking where it is. Hmm. I am suspecting this can be the error. Okay, all the way it's looking for 101. Let me change my configuration itself for looking at 101. Let's see if it goes there or not. If it still doesn't go, then need to see. Hmm. We hit with some other error. Bad range address. This is not in the subnet where I've given. Okay. There is one more place I need to edit that, I think. Yeah, this one, subnet. It's complaining about this one. You can say it's restarted without any error this time. No error. You can see that whenever request comes, it's going to assign IP from 56. I mean, sorry, not 56, that 101. Whatever the IP we have given here, whatever the IP range we have given here, 190 to 168, 101.100. And whatever the error we were facing is, there are three components. There are three files which are interdependent. You can note it down. This is one file, dhcpd. In this file, I have mentioned that which interface is my going to be the listening port for all the clients. So this is my Ethernet. This is the interface. ENP0S3 is going to be the interface which is going to listen for all the DHCP requests from the clients. This is one file. Another file is dhcp.conf. There I'm writing that particular interface is going to assign IPs from which range to which range. So it has to assign from 101.100 to 101.201. In between these range it has to assign. And the third thing is this one. See, etc sysconfig network scripts ifcfg-enp0s3. So for your each interface, you will have the IP. You will have this file enp0s3. All you suppose you have three hardware interface connected with your server. You will have these three interfaces available by default gets created. So you need to edit this probably, or you need to come back and see this what it says. So previously I was getting error that whatever the net mask I have assigned here, it's and whatever I'm asking the client to be get assigned here, it's not in the same range. First error, I have got the configuration error. We have fixed it. Second error, from second we were getting this error that these are all not in the same range. So what I've done is, rather than modifying this file, I have modified this file itself so that you assign the server, please assign the IP in this range. And the DHCP server, we can see that the status also we can see it's running. Ignoring request on ENP0S8. Okay, I don't want request to be go there. I want ENP0S3. So DHCP request, this is what we are asking to do. So one second. Now we will see by turning on the another virtual machine whether we are able to get the IP or not. So this is CentOS 2, this is CentOS 3. I don't know which is CentOS. Let me turn on and see. It's another OS. CentOS 3. So I'm turning on another machine and then we'll see what IP it's getting and how we are going to get the IP from that machine, or whatever server we have been running. And I've turned on the virtual machine nested paging, and that's why it's taking time on this virtual machine. I can show it here. Oh, now it's coming. I've installed this GUI on another virtual machine so that some days, and that day is today itself, that I can show you that how the GUI looks like for CentOS 7. Let's wait for the GUI to come.
Hello, sir.
Sorry, yes, tell me. I was on mute.
Hello, sir.
Just tell me. You were saying something.
Yes, sir. Let me know one thing, sir.
Hmm.
If you remove the comments in DHCP server, sir, what
Hmm.
what it will be gives the output, sir?
What
Can
it
we
will
know
be?
output, sir? What it will be gives the output, sir? Can we know?
Which services you want? Which comments you want me to remove?
You assigned a comment, sir, for all the services below, sir. We have to know means what it will be get the output, sir.
We need to understand what we wanted to remove, and why we wanted to remove. Two things we need to understand. Okay, if you understand, then definitely you can remove it.
Okay, sir.
So first of all, we need to understand for our work what is required. What is the basic things we needed to expedite our work. We need not to look what are all things available in the world. If for our work, some services which is still below is required, definitely we will go and enable it. There's no doubt. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
And if it is not required, let's leave all the world, whatever the world wanted to do, just leave it. Somebody will have their own way to do. Some other person will have their own way to do things. So this virtual machine doesn't seem to be responding well actually. This virtual machine is not even opening even the terminal. So what we can do is we'll look at this practical part maybe tomorrow. I mean assigning of the IP. I'll once again configure the another virtual machine with uh, what to say without GUI, and that will be a fresh. And then there we'll see how we are getting the IP address DHCP from the server whatever we have created. And obviously, if there is any more changes is required in the server, we'll go ahead and do that. It's not that once settings, whatever I have done or whatever somebody has done is going to be the universal true. No. In some other cases, it may require to change the services, or it may require to change some of the lines to edit the lines. So tomorrow I'll come up with the server which is running good, and then probably we can do there. Okay. Now our next, I mean, this is all in DHCP. I will just showcase how a client is going to get the IP from this server. And next we'll go through the Samba server, how to set up a Samba server, and how we can utilize that to mount that particular server from Windows or from Linux. For that, we can follow the second link, whatever I have sent. And in that, we might need to install some of the packages. Let me share the screen that there's a putty. For configuring the Samba server, so that's all. These are all the three basic packages which is required for Samba server to set up. It's going to fetch all the dependencies with it, and it's going to install. So I am giving simply to just install it. Now we'll set up a Samba server. So we'll create a backup of that. And then we'll create a folder somewhere. Or should we create in Samba folder itself? Okay, let's create in Samba itself. It doesn't have anything. Okay, no problem. So rather than creating here, I wanted to create an OPT. OPT Samba. And in that, I wanted to create shared. Now I wanted to change the permission for that. OPT Samba shared. I think for that I might need to change the user also, but let's add this user here for now. If it throws error, we'll see. Now we will change the file permission for SLNX. It's getting changed here in this way. So we are going to write the configuration file. For writing, we'll understand this configuration file is global for now, and for what work group it should work. In your in your organization or in any of the organization, all the systems work group. Work group is like set of system which we assign to that particular group. That's what we call it as a work group. What it should pass. And the version number. Security is what user is having. Whenever any guest is coming, map that to that user, and we don't use any proxy. And suppose if anybody is going to log in anonymously without any user, without any password, then what we need to do with that? What I wanted to share, which path? Browsable means whether I wanted to give access to browse or not, that thing. Writable, yes. I want to give access to write. I'm setting this read only to no. Test. Now we need to allow this Samba services to go through the firewall. So we know, or everybody know how to add that. It's enabled, it's running. Okay, let's start it here. One second, please. So I should be able to access. Let me give a try. What was the IP for this? So I am sharing my desktop again now. I will add the IP 192.168.56.101, and this is where I have hosted the Samba server. You can see the IP here, 192.168.56.101, and I'll press enter. Here you can see it's given me the folder. It's not allowing me. Maybe I'm not in that work group. That's why it's not allowing me. I have a different work group here for my laptop. So in your case, you might be in the same work group, and hence you might be able to access that. So here you can see that how we are able to share that, and this anonymous folder is coming up here. So this is all about sharing the Samba server. And one more thing here I wanted to add is like you can use this Samba share to mount through Linux as well, the way I have shown in previous classes. Like the IP address and the Samba protocol, you can add. You might need to add that in your firewall as well. That how you wanted to access, and then the folder name which you wanted to access in Linux using mount command. All those things you can do. So that's it for today. I'll stop this recording and sharing.